Hello, Vico. I am glad to welcome you to Más que Estudiantes channel.
Hello, my dear friend. How are you? It's great to see you and to be here. It's going to be fantastic.
Of course. Let's get started. So, Vico, could you please tell our community the reasons why you consider learning English is very important nowadays?
Yes, of course. Well, I can say that in this globalized world where everything is highly interconnected all the time, one of the best things that you can do is to learn a foreign language, and especially English, because it's one of the most useful language that you will ever acquire, okay? In fact, if you see, English is surrounding us all the time. It's present in many fields, on education, business, culture, entertainment. It's all over the internet, okay? So instead of escaping it and wondering what is said in English, okay, you should be intelligent enough and take a chance in order to learn it. So you will become more independent in that way. And then in the near or far future, when you want to travel, when you want to apply for a job or study abroad, you will not have to depend on someone else, okay? You will rely, yes, you will rely on your own English skills. So I encourage everyone there to study English and to use it as the great tool as it is.
You are totally right, my friend. I really hope our community, our followers, will take advantage of your wise advice. And by the way, for those who are already studying English, accordingly to you that are a teacher, how could they make the most of each lesson?
Well, the first thing that I would recommend to anyone who wants to take up English is to first see it not as an obligation, but as an opportunity, okay? Because in general, one is not aware of all the possibilities that English can offer when traveling, education, jobs, all that I mentioned before, okay? But you will see that once that you've studied it, once that you've learned it, you will never regret it, because you will use it for the rest of your life, okay? And now, speaking specifically of how to make the most of each lesson, I highly recommend to get involved in your own learning process. That is to say, to practice as much as you can all the abilities. I mean the language abilities, right? Listening practice, speaking practice, reading, and writing practice, okay? And of course, you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to be embarrassed if you make any mistake, because that is completely normal. Everyone makes mistakes. I made mistakes when I was younger, you too, so that always happens. So, and apart from that, mistakes are an essential part, a very important part of the learning process. So again, don't be embarrassed if you make any mistakes. And otherwise, if you do not speak a word, if you do not write a sentence, if you do not read anything, you will never know if you're making any progress or if you're making any mistakes. So you should keep track, okay, of your learning process in order to see if you're making any progress or not. That is my suggestion in this case.
May I chime in with a personal anecdote?
Yes, of course.
I remember when I was preparing my first certificate examination that I decided to read Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince in English. It was not easy to find the book because, well, in Argentina it's not easy to find an English book, but I could finally. And I remember reading the book in English, and it helped me a lot in reading comprehension. And actually, that was the part in which I did best in the examination. And also another thing, curious thing, I guess, I did when I was preparing for the exam was searching in the internet, in Facebook, I guess, in those days, for a girl called Ada Robinson. I found a girl that lives in the United States, and she was an athlete. Pardon?
An athlete. Wow.
And
no,
yeah, she was an athlete. She did yeah, she did high jump. I think nowadays she's also good, very good at a very good level. If you search for her, I think she's doing very great nowadays. And I started chatting to her, and I politely ask her if she could correct my English. And I think that also helped me with something that you always talk about, which is the challenge of interaction, the challenge of interaction.
Yes,
that's the end
yes,
of the anecdote.
that's right. No, it's a great anecdote. Your soulmate, the same name, that's great. But yes, it's great that you say this because I was going to talk about it. First of all, I want to say that another recommendation is to be curious, as you are, my dear friend, that you looked for an English book, okay, and you try to challenge yourself according to your English level. So that's great. For example, another curiosity example, let's say, is if you don't know a word, okay, in English, you don't know the meaning of it, you should look it up in the dictionary, okay? And the most important thing here is to make your own examples with that word. In that way, the meaning of this word will be more memorable and easier to remember afterwards, okay? And another thing that I think is very, very important is to think in English. You have to try to think in English. So for example, if you're thinking in your native language, our native language is Spanish, okay? So if we are thinking, tengo que ir al supermercado, try to translate that in your brain, okay? I need to go to the supermarket, or I have to go to the supermarket, okay? And in that way, you will see if you have difficulties in making these sentences, or you will see the vocabulary that is missing, okay? So this is a great way to, again, see the progress that you're making when learning a new language.
Yes, and I think that's how you realize what is the vocabulary you really need accordingly to your own lifestyle.
Of course, yes, because not everybody has the same needs when studying a foreign language. So, of course, that is a great way to look for the words that you need, as you say.
Another question, Vico. Do you have any advice for those students who want to deepen their knowledge when they come back home after they have their English lessons, for example?
Well, yes, there are many ways in which you can independently deepen your knowledge in the foreign language. The most common things that one recommends is to surround yourself in English. I mean, try to use, for example, all your apps or your technological devices, okay, in English, okay? The cell phone, the laptop, the tablet, the TV, whatever you have, so that you can have more contact, more regular contact, more input, okay?
You're constantly stimulated by the language.
Of course, that's right, very good. Well, when I was young, something that helped me a lot was listening to music. I really liked to understand what I was listening to and to sing it and understand what I was singing, okay? So first, what I tried to do was to just listen to the music and try to guess what the singer was saying or the band was saying. If I couldn't get it, I looked for the lyrics and I tried to sing the song while I was reading the lyrics. And in that way, as you did with the Harry Potter book, I learned a lot of vocabulary, tons and tons of new words, and also a little bit of pronunciation, okay? So listening to music and watching movies, that is a great way of being in constant contact with English, okay? And this is very useful, as I was saying to you, but in my opinion, the best and most effective way to learn a language is to interact with another person, okay? In this case, you can use many apps. There is an app that is called Linguado, in which you can see where the other person is geographically located and you can chat with them. Hey, I want to learn Spanish. Hey, I want to learn English in my case. So, okay, let's start a conversation. In that way, you can make also new friends in that way, okay? So these apps are very entertaining, okay? So again, this option of the apps is great because in general, many people say that just by listening to music or just by watching a movie, you can learn a new language. Of course, that's right. You can learn, you can pick up many words, many expressions. But the thing is that you are not challenged to interact. You're not required to give an answer at that moment. So you're just like passively watching or listening, okay? By contrast, when you are in a real life situation, trying to communicate with other, and when you want to get your message across and try to understand what the other is saying, of course you are more focused and you pay more attention to the other person. So another good way is to play video games online. In that way you interact with the other. You have to give an answer, you have to pay attention to the other, okay? So that is one way of interacting. So what I say in the end, what I'm trying to say in the end is that you have to challenge yourself, okay? And try to pay attention to what the other is saying and try to give an answer in order to have a conversation and to maintain it, okay? And in that way, you will effectively learn how to communicate in the other language.
In fact, I remember you not only suggested me, but also remarking it, highlighting the importance of the interaction factor. So you challenged me to talk to other persons and to always try to get into conversation in order to improve my English. So I would like to extend this advice to our followers. If you feel that you are stuck, for example, I think this could be a very good advice to level up your English. And talking about interaction, I just remember, I don't know if you also do, a funny story that happened on our first summer holidays together.
I know what you're talking about. That was that was such an experience.
Yes, actually, I remember asking you for help with my English pronunciation, and in exchange, I gave you the best, I bet, the best Zen massages you have ever received.
You bet it, because they were the best. They will always be the best, so don't worry about that.
Before letting you go, my dear friends, I would like to ask you a last question.
Okay, come on.
So this might be not an easy question. I would like to know which one is, according to you, the best way to a person that would like to take up English but have never approached to a foreign language before.
Well, in this case, if someone has never approached English before, the first thing that I would suggest is having your English level tested, okay? Because if you don't test that, you will never know which level of English you specifically have, and you should start from there, okay? One way of doing this is by asking a teacher, an English teacher, to do that. Having a teacher is always the best guidance, in my opinion. But if you do not want to start directly with the teacher and with the English classes, okay, you can look for placement tests on the internet. And these placement tests will indicate your English level. Generally, they are multiple choice tests. You can find it all over the internet, in Cambridge University and Oxford University. All of them, or all the editorials, the book editorials in English, they all have many English placement tests too. And well, as I was telling you, they are generally multiple choice, and they gradually become more difficult as you answer. So according to the number of correct answers, that is the level that you have in English, okay? And again, if you want to try to learn in a more independent way without having a teacher, you should try apps. You should make use of the internet. You should take advantage of the internet, okay? So you can use language apps. Linguado was one that I mentioned before. Duolingo is very popular, okay? In this way, you can give your very first steps in English and see if you feel comfortable learning in this new way at your own pace, okay? At your own rhythm. So you won't be under pressure in that situation, okay? So I think that's a great alternative. Also, you can watch YouTube tutorials. If you put basics in English or first steps in English, many options. Of course, YouTube is free. You will have many options to choose from. And that is also another great tool, okay? But as this will be a more independent way in which you will learn English, or young adults or whoever wants to take up English, of course, you need to be disciplined. I mean, you have to try to study it regularly, okay? That is to say, you have to make time for English. It doesn't matter if it is 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week. If you really want to learn it, to pick it up, you should try to organize your schedules, your timetables, in order to give English its proper time, okay? And well, again, be disciplined, be persistent, and be involved in your own learning process so as to be, so that it can be a fruitful experience for you. Well, and that would be all. I think that what I've said are the most important things that you can think of when trying to pick up English or study English independently.
Great, great. So, well, thanks a lot, my dear friend. And I have to say that I really, really appreciate you sharing this practical information. I am pretty sure our audience will find it very useful as well. And well, I must say goodbye. And thank you a lot again. And I am looking forward to the next one.
Yes, of course. Well, I hope so. I hope these pieces of advice are useful for everyone. It's really nice. It's really nice to know English, to be independent, to do whatever you want with it. So I highly recommend taking it up, okay? And well, it was a great experience, my friend. I send you a billion kisses and I hope to see you soon. Looking forward to the next one too.
Okay. You must know that this was my first interview. So you are the first one. It's my first experience too. So I had a wonderful time with you. And okay, I have to say goodbye.
Okay, my friend, bye-bye. Great experience. Love you.